not like it? Is it not nostalgia for you?
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm finding it though that it doesn't hook me. The end of the episode doesn't spur me to then want to go and watch the next one. Like I'm watching a documentary right now on Crave about this guy whose mom was killed, and I want to watch the next episode, right?
those crime trash shows. What's up, folks?
But Cobra Kai is not doing it. But hey, I'm watching it with my son, so there you go.
There you go. I'm interested to hear what he thinks about it, and if he's actually seen the original Karate Kids.
No, see, he doesn't remember seeing the original one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's good. Don't show it to him and let him watch it and see if these flashbacks make any sense to him. What's up, folks? This is the Sidekick Show. We're here Monday. What are we? November 11th?
No, January.
January? Oh, damn it. I wish it was November.
It's November. Wow, John just went back in time by 2 months.
I wish I could go back in time. Oh, man.
Wow, that would mean the election is tomorrow. So for those of our friends in the U.S. who are voting tomorrow on the 12th, good luck. It's January the 11th, everybody. Hello, welcome to the Heroes World Sidekick Show. That's what John's trying to say.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. We're getting 11/11 is Scott's birthday. So I see Scott in the chat. I see Lewis in the chat. I see Fraser. You guys, thanks for joining us early here. We are live here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely join us every week. We are part of the Heroes World podcast. So if you want to see more shenanigans, we'll be mentioning that show later. What do we want to get to first? Do we want to talk about new releases?
Yeah, we can. Andrew's popping in he's already started with a movie.
Wait. We're gonna talk. We are gonna be talking 80s movies. We're kind of gonna throw everything in the bracket. So we're gonna get to that. So don't throw those out there because we're not gonna be able to scroll back and see too much.
Because we lose it after a certain number of comments. So.
I feel like it's either time or it's like number of comments. So don't go crazy, folks. Welcome to the show. Thanks again so much for tuning in live. This is awesome whenever you guys are popping in first thing. So let's talk new releases. New releases comics are going to be available at Heroes World Wednesday morning. We got a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to hit a couple of the hits, and I've got a couple kind of themed products that I'm going to mention that go with our 80s theme. So Amazing Spider-Man 57 is going to be out. They're cranking those out every week, I feel like. There's a Chris Claremont anniversary special that's going to drop. There's a Homesick Pilots #2, Immortal Hulk 42, and we have a whole bunch of King in Black stuff, which is the new kind of big Venom Marvel event. Gwenom versus Carnage, King in Black, Planet of the Symbiotes, and the Thunderbolts #1. We also have Pat's favorite book, Marauders, coming out. And then I'm going to jump to DC. Is going to be in their second week of their Future State stuff. So we're going to see a whole bunch. So last week they did actually really well. So a lot of people picked up Next Batman. A lot of people picked up Wonder Woman, which features the new Brazilian Wonder Woman. So some very cool stuff. So this week we're going to have Dark Detective #1, Green Lantern, Justice League, Kara Zor-El Superwoman, Robin Eternal, Superman and Wonder Woman, and Teen Titans. So yeah, DC Future State is looking pretty good so far. It's fun. And then I'm going to mention a couple other items that are related to our current topic. So I'm going to mention this very cool. Hey, that's cool. It's actually cut out and stuff like that. I didn't do that, but yeah. So this is a 1,000-piece puzzle released. That's going to be new second editions coming out soon. So if you do want this, I can order it for you. Of Die Hard. So it's based off a Mondo poster that they released, which is kind of like an 8-bit version of Die Hard. And it's got like all the floors of the Nakatomi Plaza or building or whatever.
It's missing a few, but yeah.
It's pretty cool. So if you guys dig puzzles and if you dig Mondo's art, this new second edition is going to be on sale very soon. And it's going to be like $24.99, and it's approximately 27 inches by 19 inches. I don't know if that's standard for a puzzle or not, but I thought that'd be something pretty fun we could show off. And then the other thing I'm going to mention is a Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist board game. So this is a cool one versus many, and of course my daughter busts in the room. What's up? So this is a one versus many game. So you can play as John McClane and you fight against the terrorists or Hans Gruber and his thugs. And they've got to break the 7 locks of the safe each kind of like round. So it's cool because it's asymmetric gameplay. So one of you does get to play as John McClane, and you can play up to 4. Sorry, Jesus. Up to 4 players, so you can have up to 3 people playing as the bad guys, which is really cool. So you kind of work together. You try to put together these locks, and if you're John McClane, you're trying to grab the machine gun and kind of like traverse it across the plaza and or across the building and things like that. So I thought that was a pretty cool product. So I can order that in. That's about $49.99. And up to 4 players takes about 60 to 90 minutes, which I think is like the sweet spot for board games. And I think that's it for my new releases. I'm going to kick it to Rob because my daughter's going nuts here.
No, I want to keep enjoying the show. All right, kicking it to me. All right, so we listen, everybody, thank you for joining us. A lot of news dropped in the last, like pretty much today. And that's because Kevin Feige has been doing some press release for WandaVision. As you know, WandaVision is dropping on Disney Plus on Friday. 2 episodes are coming out. It appears to be 30 minutes in length. There is some rumor that they will expand to about the 42-minute mark as you get later into the season. But they are the first 2 episodes, I believe, are 30 to 32 minutes each in length. So that comes out this Friday. And I'm pretty sure that we are going to be reviewing it and having an episode come out on Sunday. So definitely stay tuned for more information on that. But in terms of the news that's been coming out, obviously, I guess what I will say is probably the biggest one is all the rumors have kind of been washed away. Kevin Feige has confirmed that Ryan Reynolds will reprise his role as Deadpool in Deadpool 3 for Marvel, and it will be a hard R. So that is pretty exciting. He will be part of the MCU proper. Ryan Reynolds tweeted about it afterwards, making a joke that he essentially showed Kevin Feige Spider-Man 1 and 2 and convinced him it was actually Deadpool 1 and 2. So Deadpool coming. Obviously, Reynolds is really busy right now, and they're not looking to film until maybe sometime in 2022. I can't imagine it being a movie that requires a whole heck of a lot of special effects like the Avengers or the Thor movie or this and that. So it is feasible, depending on when they film in 2022, that we could be seeing it in 2023. It is possible. So you never know. But look for that to start getting some more information as we move on there.
They did go crazy with Juggernaut and Colossus, the last movie. Like a lot of CG going on there. So
yeah, but it wasn't like a spectacle as like the Thor with the spaceships and with the Avengers as of late and everything else like that. So I think it was a bit more practical effects. Yeah, obviously you had some CG elements, but I guess what my point was, you didn't have to spend a year and a half in CG and post-production to create the world, right? Some other news out of Kevin Feige. Oh, so much news. Loki, Winter Soldier and Loki. So when they were making these Disney Plus movies, they had a decision. They said we can either make like 4 to 6 1-hour length episodes or like 10 half-hour episodes. So that's what we have with WandaVision. Both Loki and Falcon and Soldier will be 6 episodes in length and about between 49 to 56 minutes in length. So I hope I didn't mess it up. But yes, it's about an hour each episode. So that's good. So that's some good information on that. If we're talking about some bad news, I guess we can always talk about the fact that movies are delayed once again. So the first, no surprise, right? The first confirmed delay will be Morbius. Morbius? It was supposed to be out March. It's now has been moved to October.
It's a Jake Gyllenhaal Tyrese project, right?
Yeah, yes. It's looking like your Fast and Furious 9 will also be delayed. Universal hasn't made any comment about what it's planning to do. Just as Sony hasn't made any, or MGM, sorry, hasn't made any confirmation of what's going to happen with the new Bond. That's supposed to be out in April. The likelihood is that will have to be moved yet again. Although the one thing that is interesting is that Universal has this deal that they made after the Trolls World Tour with some of the theaters about putting it online at the same time. And it was a bit different than what Warner Brothers did with Wonder Woman 84. So I do wonder if Fast 9 would end up on the streaming service at the same time as in theaters, but I'm just not too sure. But it's looking, I am assuming, John, and I wouldn't say I'm a betting man. I think I was before Wonder Woman 84, but I think since we got kind of hooped on that one, I'm pretty much betting that Bond will definitely be moving off of its April post. The problem is, where does it go? So now, we've talked about this before, John. There's only so many weekends, bro. Only so many weekends available, and what do you do, right? Speaking about Warner Brothers and
they'll fill the whole week. It'll be like theater trip every day of the week.
Well, this is the problem, right? Because even if you double up on weekends, or if, as you say, you drop a new movie on Wednesday and you got another one on Saturday, you're watering down the content to the point that people aren't going to have as much money to be able to go spending it going to the movie theaters twice, 3 times a week, or 6 times a month for new releases. So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe we do have the streaming option available to us. It seems to have worked well with Wonder Woman 84 in terms of money, although the final figures haven't been released yet. But would you watch Fast 9 at home if you had no option to go to the theater?
Well, yeah, if there's no option, obviously I'm going to. At this stage, I don't think it's going to happen over here. But I think they are priming and they want that out in like big theater blockbuster style, but I don't know how long they can wait to return. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think they got to get it out before people forget, unless they release a whole bunch of like mini spin-offs and stuff like that. And that animated show is not going to cut it.
No, and I won't even watch that. So, so who knows? Who knows? I just don't. I listen. The reality is that these things will be released at some point. There's no point anymore in guaranteeing, giving us a date when you guarantee it. Kevin Feige is not moving off of Black Widow. He's saying no. We are sticking to the May date. The problem is, John, is that now it comes down to a matter of. And I know that Lewis is making fun of me about my math skills, but it does come down to a mathematical equation. That mathematical equation is how many individuals will have received the vaccine before the first May weekend when that movie comes out. Because if it's not going to be a lot, there's not going to be a lot of people going to theaters to see it. That's the reality of things. Mm-hmm. Hey, I know that Scott is on here, and Scott made an appearance on our Best of 2020 episode. And if I'm mistaken, Scott had recommended Umbrella Academy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Well, Scott will be happy to know that the Umbrella Academy just unveiled the season 3 cast for the Sparrow Academy. And if you remember the end of season 2, we got some silhouettes. They changed time. And then when they went back to the present time, there was the Sparrow Academy. There is one individual who is carrying over from that cast, and that is the person who plays Ben. He is part of the Sparrow Academy. So definitely go online and check out all the different actors who have been cast as the Sparrow Academy. And John, that's all I really have for news, man. It's just one of those days. Oh, wait. I have one more thing to say. I want anybody to know, hey, what do you think of Wonder Woman Best Picture Oscar winner?
It's like, is it officially confirmed that this is still happening? Like, Grammys have been postponed, right? So are Oscars going forward, and is it going to be like Bad Boys, Wonder Woman, Tenet, Harley Quinn, Bloodshot? We can almost name them all on 2 hands. Onward, Trolls World Tour, Mulan. Like I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody. I think there was a couple other animated features that came out. But yeah, this is nuts. Like what a cherry to that which is 2020 if Wonder Woman gets Best Picture.
Well, Warner Brothers has decided to submit WW84 in all categories. Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Directing, Best Writing, everything. The entire every category they've submitted this movie for. And given the fact that there's not much in terms of of competition, it's very feasible that this would be the second DC movie that will have won an Academy Award next to
next to Suicide Squad. Oh goodness!
So
what a disaster. I think the Oscars has to like do something to not have that on record, unless they call this Oscars 2020 and then like a semicolon winner by default, and then a picture of like Homer Simpson or something like that. Like, I feel like that's not right if they go forward like that,
Well,
but
yeah,
who knows?
There you go, man. So that's it. That's the news.
That's a good bomb to end the news on. So thanks again for joining us, folks. Let's dive quickly into the comments, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit about the podcast that's coming up. So let's see, everyone. We did try to start on time today, so I know a lot of people are saying, hey, a lot of people in the comments checking the time.
Hey, the future state, are people? You were mentioning future state doing really well. My understanding is it's going back for second and third printing because maybe some people have slept on the first run.
Yeah, a bunch of issue 1s and even the number 2 for next Batman have been slated for second prints. They've got these cool design covers. So it's odd. It's just timing of this event. So a lot of places like us, we because of the new DC final order cutoff dates, we were able to adjust these orders now, knowing that we're in the pandemic lockdown. So some of the books have been adjusted. So maybe they're not as available as most other titles. Like we did order a significant amount, and all the major books did come with a Wonder Woman 84 cover. Which, the movie, wasn't stellar, but these covers actually look really cool. So J. Scott Campbell, Adam Hughes, and a lot of movie imagery. So the movie does look fantastic. Like they have Gal Gadot in the armor, golden armor and things like that. So if you are a fan of the imagery of Wonder Woman, then it's going to be some cool stuff for you to pick up. But yeah, it seems to be catching on. And then the 2 top books I would say are the Next Batman, which is the new, the Black Batman character.
Yep.
And the new Wonder Woman, which is the new Brazilian Wonder Woman. So it should be interesting. See who sticks around. Yeah.
I don't know if we want to get. Well, I'm going to bring it up. What the hell? I'm a big fan of Jason Fabok.
Yeah.
And so if you remember, Friends of Heroes World, there was a bit of a controversy with Fabok with another Unionville-based comic book store. Back in the summer when 3 Jokers #1 came out. Fabok has taken to Instagram, and the post, I think he's been posting some photos of a raven, something that he's been drawing, and he posted one the other day and it seems to have disappeared. But before that happened, I guess he was responding to somebody's a question. I don't know what the question was, but there was a screenshot of his responses, and so I just kind of wanted to. He's made a comment with respect to DC Comics, and he just says, to whatever he just said, I think he was talking about, somebody asked me, would you ever do a creator-owned series? And he responded by saying, I just want to draw and focus on that, but I see the draw towards it. So maybe one day, or a hybrid like Tony Daniel or Keanu Reeves did, with Keanu and Boom and with Berserker, right? And But he says, but DC is so poorly run, it took 6 months to get back to us on our pitch. So I took work elsewhere. That pitch being a sequel to 3 Jokers. He then doubles down and says, I don't think it's being run very well, which is DC. And it's okay to say that. Many people working there are saying the same. For starters, they fired almost everyone I ever worked for at the company, many of which were passionate about the books and didn't deserve to go. He has since deleted that posting, and so therefore all that comment thread is gone. But he has pretty much come out, and obviously, as I said and read there, he's not happy with how things are being handled over at DC.
It's hard to say. Yeah, they're going through a massive restructuring. Times are changing, so I guess they are doing it kind of publicly because I guess there's more fans and all these artists and other people in the mix. So who knows? Maybe it's just like any other corporate restructuring, or maybe it is a disaster. I guess we won't know until maybe a couple months from now if we really the wheels fall off the truck or whatever the expression is. I just made that up.
There you go. Well, Andrew just actually asked a question. He says, how has the state of the comic industry been during the past year? Up, down, steady, or going up? I don't know. I guess as a retailer, you would be better poised at answering that. My understanding, though, is that sales are actually increasing.
It's hard to say. Yeah, there's a lot of spec market stuff that's going out, and we were doing okay before the lockdown. So we'll see when we come back if everything's going good, or if the books that came out while we were closed down continue to go. So I don't know. I would have to kind of look at some sales figures and the bigger picture on how things are doing in general. I know a lot of people are missing. A lot of people passed on stuff. X of Swords probably didn't do as well as it should have. King in Black, which is the Donny Cates stuff, is not quite doing as well as it should.
Right.
But there are other books that are just catching fire and taking off, like the first appearance of this new Wonder Woman, and and other like books, nice covers, even books with just nice covers, people are grabbing onto. So it's kind of bizarre.
I've read, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read that a lot of indie titles have really exploded during this pandemic year, where you're seeing studios like Boom and even Image. Like, I mean, they've been killing it with a lot of their titles, and so a lot of these more these non-DC, non-Marvel IPs are doing really, really well. People are really picking up on these. Something is killing the children, and
yeah, like especially Image did. Right? So, Image did cut back their line, so there's all kinds of stuff going on. Star Wars has gone crazy because of all these Star Wars announcements. So things like that, yeah, definitely is giving it a little bit of a boost. But we'll see how many stores are around and carrying that stuff. So yeah, it's hard to say. I haven't really kind of looked at it. I'm kind of trying to keep moving forward. So maybe we'll come back to it later in like mid-year or something like that and see if it really was. Hey, did this help this industry, or did it like crush it,
Yeah.
So let's get back into the comments quickly, and then we'll get into the things. So Andrew does say he watched all the Superman movies. Superman 4 does suck.
Yep.
Yep.
Nobody will disagree with you there, Andrew.
Scott says to go knock out some tunes on this picture of a piano behind me. I wish this is the virtual background, so I wish I had that grand piano, and I wish I also knew how to play. Let's see.
What song? What 80s tune would you rock it on the piano?
I don't know. I think I'd grab some steel drums and I'd rock some of the Commando music from the movie we're going to talk about later. Andrew does ask about what do you think of the Batwoman show? So Rob, are you going to watch this new Batwoman show? I think it doesn't premiere until next week. I think the 17th is when it actually starts with the new Batwoman.
Yeah.
I know you watch a lot of the CW shows, so I don't know if you're going to watch this one.
So I gave the original like first season a couple of episodes. I usually, if I can't get into it by episode 3, like if it becomes where I'm like a chore, I'm out. And so I bounced on the first on season 1. I didn't care for Ruby Rose. I didn't care for the storyline. I will give this a go, but I'm going in with the expectation that I probably won't enjoy it, just because there's something about the show that just doesn't really click with me. But I'll give it a go. Sure, why not? I mean, shit, I always need more to watch, John. So yeah, I'll give it a go.
I think we'll give it a go, folks. You guys want to talk about it, especially me and Rob will try and watch it when it airs, and maybe we'll hop on live and get everyone's thoughts, and we can open up a nice Batwoman discussion. I did a Cobra Kai special, which was a lot of fun to talk about something like you just watched with a bunch of buddies. So I could definitely come up with some fun stuff for the Batwoman stuff. I have been following the star's name, Javicia, I think her name is. I don't know how to pronounce it. On Instagram. Maybe. But she's been posting some of the stunt work and behind the scenes and the costume kind of in motion, and it all looks pretty good. I haven't really kind of gotten into one of these CW shows since maybe early Arrow. So, but what else is going on? So we might as well give it a try, right?
Well, yeah. So like I know that Flash will be coming now. For those in Canada, I don't know the date Flash returns in the US, but we're usually 3 days afterwards on Netflix. But there's just been no confirmation on Netflix that season 7 is coming, so I don't really know. We're kind of up in the air on that. Superman and Lois is also coming out in February, I believe. So you've got Batwoman, Superman, Lois. I won't watch Legends, so don't bother with that for me. And the Flash. So and I won't go back to Supergirl. I tried. I'm done with that as well. So. I'm actually looking forward to the. Yeah.
If you guys are down, we'll watch at least the first episodes of all these, and we'll go live and chat about them. Jonathan Yo does mention that maybe they should have recast. I think that it is. Whoops, sorry, the comments are moving, so I'm clicking the wrong things. Recast the character. I don't know if you're talking about Batwoman or not, but yeah, basically they have recast her in, not recast, but they've created a new character.
Yes.
I forgot, was Ryan something or
Ryan something or other. Yeah,
Ryan Wilder, I believe. Something like
that's
that.
Right. Yeah. Kate Kane was the first one, and she's gone. Right. So,
which I think is fine. Why not do this for TV shows? So I'm going to give it a try. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of these CW shows anymore. So if you guys are down, let's okay, we'll do this now, Rob. We'll agree to watch all the first episodes, and come back. Yeah, Rob, you're agreeing to this. You only said one of them you're not watching, Legends of something, right?
Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl. I have no interest in that either. So I'll watch.
All right, fine. I'll do it. I'll do it if you people want to jump on with me, and maybe we'll try and get Rob in there. But let's jump to the podcast. Right. So what do we talk about this week? So no Mandalorian. WandaVision starts next week, so we only did one this week, folks. So if you missed us on Sunday, thanks. That's cool. But this Wednesday we talked about what do we talk about this Wednesday? I almost forgot.
What we did is we did our prediction of what we had to pick one title, be it a movie or television show that we were very excited to see come 2021. So we all, John, Andre, Stu, and myself, we all came up with an idea of at least one of the titles that something that excited us for the year. We also came up with an idea of which one has the biggest potential to be 2021's version of Wonder Woman 84. So what movie could be that you're super excited for and it could potentially just shit the bed? So maybe Fast and Furious 9 makes an appearance on that list. I'm not really too sure.
I don't think they can go any. They know they know their formula. They know their audience. They know where they're going with it. So
yeah,
we did throw out some other predictions. So definitely, yeah. Best. I think I thumbnailed the YouTube video as who's going to win 2021 and who's going to lose 2021. So you get a couple predictions from us. That was a lot of fun. We also
did Heroes for Hire, fan casted.
Yeah. So Heroes for Hire. I don't know if you guys were fans of Finn Jones or Mike Coulter. They are both. We don't know if they're going to return, but the rumor is that Marvel's going to bring back these characters. So we did our fan cast of our very own Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and then what did we follow up with? We did a what if our idea for what if. So Marvel has a what if show coming out on I think Disney Plus, animated style. So we kind of did our own take on it, and then we wrapped up with the Rock Factor. I think Stu called it Rock Viagra, but
franchise Viagra, yes,
franchise Viagra, yeah. So basically inserting some other character into some other book that's not doing so well, even though I don't know, in your opinion, was Fast and the Furious doing not so great and they added Rock? So Fast and Furious 4 returns kind of back to basics, and then Fast 5 hits is where they added the Rock and they came up with the heist mechanic, I like to call it, or the Ocean's 11 factor.
Yeah. Well, I think for sure Fast 5 was a definite I hate using the word pivot because it's just so fucking 2020 pandemic, but it was a definite pivot away from what the first 4 Fast movies were like, and it went completely off the rails, right? I mean, I think we can all agree the first 3 Fast Furious movies were somewhat grounded in reality in terms of its physics with street racing. That's really what it was.
Fast and Furious 2 take some liberties.
Okay, sure.
Your idea is generally they're street racers.
Yeah,
they're kind of shady, criminal element, kind of I don't know what you would call it, culture or mentality or something like that. And then 5 kind of just sends the ramp. So I don't know if that's coincidence. I don't know if that necessarily needed to be The Rock. I feel like it didn't really. They just came up with a good formula, and Rock just happened to be in it. I'm sure it doesn't hurt that The Rock was in it, but I don't know what he did before that was really as hot as that was kind of during his upwards trip. Like he did the Rundown, which I really like, but I wouldn't say he's like a household name after that. But
well, I think he had done the G.I. Joe before that, right? Rise of Cobra and all that. So I felt like he was at that point where he was the franchise, as Stu said, franchise Viagra.
They're throwing him in everything. Yeah.
So that's Wednesday. That's Wednesday's episode. So please definitely, it's actually a lot of fun, and Andre gives us his pick of the week as well. So definitely want to tune in.
Yeah. Jonathan Yo does say he liked Mike Coulter as Luke Cage, Iron Fist actor. He'd be fine with it if they replaced him.
I think everybody would be fine if they replaced him with that.
That seemed to be the general consensus. I feel like this guy was thrown into season 1, and I don't know if it was necessarily his fault or not, but that definitely didn't kind of come fully realized. Scott Graziano says, what if Wonder Woman 84 didn't suck? Oh man, I don't know how many of us wish that this was true. If they cooked it a little more on the editing table, or I don't know, or edit it differently.
No, I don't think the editing had anything to do with it. I think it was really shittily written, and shittily is not a real word, and I completely accept that. It was not well written whatsoever. Maxwell, the whole plot and premise is atrocious. So there's no editing could save that movie.
Yeah. Fraser mentions that his Bond might be a letdown. Yeah, spoilers. Definitely tune in. Andrew mentions Top Gun. I think Top Gun does come up for a second there. There's some more Bond talk, so we'll tune into the podcast on Wednesday, folks. You'll find out if anyone chooses Bond as their either most anticipated movie or destined to Wonder Woman 84 it. Yeah. I don't know if that should be a new vernacular or whatever. Or whatever. You Wonder Woman 84 it, or you WW 84 it. I feel like that should be the terminology. Yeah, Scott mentions he forgot about Top Gun. I forgot about everything that was supposed to be scheduled for 2020. I literally only had like a couple things in my mind. I had to watch like a recap of what was supposed to happen in 2020, because certainly what was supposed to happen didn't happen.
Although I gotta say, Top Gun is on one of my like top 5 most excited movies to watch. I am very stoked to see that. It looks amazing. The fact that he actually is flying that jet, take my money. Take it.
I think Cruise just wanted an excuse to fly a fighter jet, and 100%.
He doesn't need an excuse to fly it. The man's he could buy half of the U.S. Army. He doesn't need an excuse to fly a fighter jet. But I'm in like Flint. Give me that movie.
All right. So thanks again, folks, for tuning in. We're in the midway. Yeah, we're in the midway point. So let's get to talking about our 80s movie showdown. So what happened last week? We kind of narrowed down the field. We created a couple stipulations as to what movies qualify for this particular bracket, and I think we're pretty sure we're going to have to run a sister bracket with the sci-fi fantasy titles. So stay tuned for that after. I don't know if you want to cover any more recap kind of stuff, Rob, while I get things ready here.
A recap. So I'm just gonna. I don't have access to check out these to highlight.
Well, what were our rules? Like, what kind of movies are we picking?
Crap. So what we had done. What day is it today? So is it only the 11th day of January? Is that? It feels like January is already been
11 days in.
Old. Oh my god. We kind of stipulated that we had to separate sci-fi based movies out of the main action role, because when you're having a bracket, how do you put Bloodsport up against RoboCop? Two great action movies, but two vastly different. How do you properly and fairly have them compete against each other? It was much easier when we were doing the worst comic book movies, because it was just which one is more shittier, and they're all still within that realm of a comic book idea. It was too hard. How do you do Predator versus Above the Law? Again, two great action movies, but just within different realms. So we had to. That's why John's saying we're looking to we'll have a sister bracket of some of these sci-fi fantasy movies that were in the 80s that do belong on a best of action list, but they just couldn't be competitive with the more grounded action movies like Lethal Weapons or Beverly Hills or Die Hard, right? So we had that. We also removed out. And I know there's going to be an asterisk here. We did remove out like the Top Guns, the Iron Eagles, because as much as those were action movies, they weren't necessarily the running and gunning, fighting movies, obviously using airplanes. We took out the Karate Kid, movies that were kind of more comedic in its nature, like a comedy action, right? So we took out Karate Kid 1 and 2.
I feel like it's a comedy drama Karate Kid. I don't even know if it's considered a comedy action.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, probably more comedy drama with some action elements, but we removed that, and then we also, I feel like we removed, and this is where I go back to the asterisk aspect, is we removed sports movies. So I think we took out Rocky, the Rocky movies, because it's more of a sports movie as opposed to action. And if you may say, but why, if you've removed sports, why do you have Bloodsport in it? I think we can all agree that Bloodsport is just a different, like, it is not a sports movie per se. It's definitely, what I would deem to be an action movie. So, and it's our show.
There's some fights that take place outside of the tournament. But yeah, if you look up something like
and
Rocky,
it's our show. So
yeah. And, like, Rocky is not even classified as an action movie. It's actually a drama. Sorry.
Right.
I don't remember what it is. Drama sport.
It was a sports drama. Yeah. That's we had to put some contingency. We had to remove some of these movies. I listen. We'll be honest with you. We actually took Indiana Jones, like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Sorry to call it Indiana Jones first. It's not. It's Raiders. We took Raiders out and we threw it into the sci-fi movie category, because when you look at this final bracket that we're going to create, you could just see that the indie movie just does not. It just doesn't belong in that area. So, I think that's pretty much about it in terms of our rules surrounding which movies we decided to go with, right, John? Sorry, and if anybody did care, yes, we know Empire Strikes Back came out in 83. We know Superman 2 and 3 were out, and we're obviously Superman 4 wouldn't make it in. There's a lot of those comic book movies or those really sci-fi movies. We just didn't include those because those are in categories of their own. So you won't see any Star Wars movies or superhero movies in our overall pick.
All right, so I'm gonna pop up the list and we'll jump back in the comments for a second here, so you guys can kind of take it in. So this is the current list here. So like Rob said, we removed Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we replaced it with 48 Hours, just because we wanted some representation of the whole buddy, or two guys that shouldn't get along but they work together kind of genre. But we do have a couple other movies that do represent that, like Lethal Weapon and Tango and Cash and things like that. Scott in the comments does mention, where'd it go? Die Hard wins then. I think he's got a compelling argument. I was rewatching a little bit of Die Hard, and I don't know. That's why it's at the top of the list right now. I don't know if anything is going to be able to top that right now.
It will.
Yeah. All right. Scott, Rob's got some plans, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Because that movie is pretty damn good.
It is, but there's a couple of other movies that are much better. I love me Die Hard. Do not get me wrong, but I don't think it's going to end up as the best action movie of 1980, the 80s. Jonathan, you make a very compelling argument that Lethal Weapon is actually a much better movie than Die Hard in terms of an action movie. I would definitely recommend that if everybody has an understanding of what Die Hard is, if you didn't see it over the holidays, rewatch it, but definitely rewatch Lethal Weapon. I'm almost willing to bet John's hair that Lethal Weapon 2 is a better movie than Die Hard 1. So
I don't know about that, but it's good actually. The similarities between those two movies and kicking off the whole genre. Like if you look at our list here, there's a whole style of movie like Roadhouse, Rambo, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Commandos and Predators and all that kind of stuff, which was like the muscle fueled explosions, larger than life military dudes, and then kind of Die Hard comes along and Lethal Weapon, and I feel like they kind of kind of mutated the genre a little bit.
Well, they made they made police officers the gritty heroes. Like they took the police officer movie, like the Dirty Harry movies from like the 70s, and tweaked it to 80s action, to an 80s ideology, right? So that the height of cocaine use and everything else, and that's the reality. Sorry, but that's the reality of the 80s. I mean, New York as a backdrop in the 80s was pretty shitty looking. So it's very Gotham-y, right? So it's no surprise that police officers are cops. That's where they really came into the action movie genre in that way, because I think before they were more of rogue cops, Dirty Harry and this and that. They were they were one-offs, right? Breaking the laws for their own purpose, and these guys then it became a bit different. So yeah. Fraser mentions he thinks FX should be on there. I don't remember this movie at all, Rob. So I don't know if you think Fraser's got an argument here, if we should move one of these things on the list. No, you know what, Fraser? I was a big FX fan. Actually, I feel though like I end up watching FX2 way more than I watch FX1. FX is a really good movie, but I would actually say that it's not. Listen, if we throw this on the list, it's the first one out. It's not going to hold up against even one of the worst on this list. Unfortunately, I think it was more cool and spectacle, the practical effects. I mean, the whole premise being it was a special effects guy, laying all these cool little traps and whatnot, and fighting these bad guys with his his robots, his movie effects is a really great premise and idea. But does it actually hold up to the Lethal Weapons, Die Hard, Beverly Hills Cop? Unfortunately, it doesn't. So that's my opinion. It's a fun movie though, and I would definitely recommend people watch it. FX is a really cool movie.
All right, cool. So I think I'm going to toss these into the bracket generator now. Then
okay. Ooh, I'm nervous.
See how it goes. But hold on, I might have messed this up by putting.
Look at the size of that finger.
Hey, the camera's like right here, like right in the bottom of it. Anyways, let me try something. I'm gonna have to do. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we go. Okay, so let me adjust my screen a little bit, folks. Bear with us.
Yeah, you do that. I'll respond. Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, if you've never seen FX, it's actually F. Is it F with a \X, I believe?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Brian Brown and Brian Dennehy. And it came up. There was two movies. I think it was 86 was FX, and I feel like 89 was FX2. Again, they are fun movies, but by no means do they hold up to the other ones. Now, it is funny. Following last week's show, I had like a frying pan hit me in the head moment, and I was like, "Oh my God, John!" Completely forgot about Remo Williams. The Adventure Begins. And John immediately shot it down without ever having watched the movie. I know Scott. I sent the picture of the cover to Scott, and of course he was laughing out loud. I think he would be all for Fred Ward being in Remo Williams, but we're not going to put it in. But if you haven't seen Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins, you are in for a treat.
The cover looks kind of whack, but all right. So we got our bracket here. Let me hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in anymore. I want to make sure you guys can see it. So let me close this. So how's that? Is that readable?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Go a little bit closer.
There we go.
We lose the bottom row, but we'll get to it.
We can scroll. Look at that.
Hold on. Let me get this comment off from. There we go. All right. So let's see. Okay. So round one. So for you guys listening on the audio, if you can't read it or see it, we're gonna have. So round one, we're looking at Die Hard versus Missing in Action.
I wonder which one's gonna win on that one.
I feel like we should do that. Let's run over the entire list, and then we'll circle back and see if there's anything we can call right away. Lethal Weapon versus Roadhouse. Commando versus Black Rain. Bloodsport versus Cobra.
Okay.
Yeah. Bloodsport versus Cobra. Beverly Hills Cop versus Red Heat. Beverly Hills Cop 2 versus Rambo First Blood Part 2. Lethal Weapon 2 versus Tango and Cash.
Wow.
And then Above the Law, Steven Seagal versus 48 Hours. All right, so let's circle back to the top. And let me get.
Can I ask anybody while John's doing that? Is anybody kind of excited? Like, will you be watching these movies with us? Because I guarantee you, I cannot wait to dive back into these movies. I just purchased Black Rain off of iTunes. I think it was like $10 because I used to have it. I don't have it anymore. I've seemed to have gone. A whole bunch of my movies are gone. I don't know what happened to them. I have a funny feeling that my brother-in-law, he took a whole bunch, and I was like, yeah, sure, return them whenever. And it's been years. So I'm very excited to be watching a lot of these, if not most of them.
Yeah. All right. So let's see if we can easily decide any of these. I feel like Die Hard versus Missing in Action. Unfortunately, I think Chuck Norris, legend, is going to lose that one. And it's not to say it is because of Chuck Norris. I think it's to say that the movies that he was involved in, like if Die Hard was starring Chuck Norris, that would be something hella impressive. But I think Bruce Willis really sells the everyman that you weren't sure if he was going to win that fight. Whereas Chuck Norris, you're like, oh yeah, he's going to win. That's no problem.
So are we we're just not going to watch Missing in Action? We're just going to make the call right now.
I think we're gonna chop down some time here, and any clear winners.
Well, I know why, because John just doesn't have the time to watch all these movies.
Hold on, my stupid internet. Oh, actually, it's a site. All right, so let's see. If anyone disagrees with this, Oh, sorry, this is some behind the scenes stuff. Actually, Rob, can you talk for a bit while I fix this?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna try to go through some of these. And again, I apologize, guys. I can't, guys and girls. Although Michelle, I don't think is on tonight. Let me see. Andrew says Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Black Rain, Tango Cash, 48 hours should be making it to the next round. I'm not necessarily sure about that 48 hours. I have to see. I can't remember who 40 hours went up against. If it was Above the Law, then that's no. Above the Law is going far, my friend. Cobra over Bloodsport. Also, Andrew saying Cobra over Bloodsport. What, Andrew? Have you been drinking? What are you doing? I don't understand. Fraser saying Die Hard wins. I'm assuming you mean for that one bracket, not for the overall.
You might mean overall.
Let me see. Lewis is telling people that they're all slackers. They have to watch the damn movies. Somebody also mentioned Tubi on here. I don't know. I can't remember who it was. It said I'm going to have to Jonathan, I might have to swim through the trash that is Tubi. Yeah, so I think this is a relatively new streaming service, and I could be wrong. But a friend of mine messaged me about this a little while ago, that Tubi is available. It's an ad-supported streaming service. So they have a whole bunch of older movies. You just unfortunately have to sit through a bunch of ads. It's like watching it on television, but I think the ads are only about 15 to 30 seconds. There's only a couple of them. So I might actually have to sign up for that to see some of these movies. Also, a good suggestion for those in Canada, the CTV app. If you have an Apple TV, Fire Stick, or on your iOS devices, the CTV app has a whole bunch of older movies, but they're only within a 30-day period, and then they get replaced. So you can always check out some of those movies there as well.
All right. Did you say any of these others were easy calls? I want to say Lethal Weapon 2 over Tango and Cash. Just because the chemistry is definitely better in Lethal Weapon 2 than Tango and Cash.
Yeah, I guess. Do people I mean, I guess we're cutting some of this down now. We don't want to be watching some of these movies.
I think we should cut some of it down. Let's see. Lethal Weapon Roadhouse.
That's a tough one, John. I know it's tough because I really like Roadhouse.
You're very biased, but I feel like overall Lethal Weapon 2 is probably a better movie than Lethal Weapon 1. I don't know if you're going to agree with that.
I'm going to punch you in the face, first of all.
You think Lethal Weapon 1 is better than Lethal Weapon 2?
I want to rewatch Lethal Weapon. I just finished watching 1. I've seen these movies a whole bunch. Like, I have to say, out of all of the action movies series, those 4 movies are the ones I've likely watched the most in my life. Because as a series, all 4 movies are very, very solid. The Lethal Weapon 2 does introduce Joe Pesci, so there is that. It creates this comedic style that is definitely not present in the first movie. I'm not. I
feel like comedy needs to be infused in a lot of these 80s action movies because they are so over the top and the heroes are usually larger than life, that you have to have a little something like Black Rain. I haven't watched, I don't even know if I've watched Black Rain. Like, I rewatched the trailer today. I remember the whole motorcycle dudes with the swords across the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it looks like there's no comedy in that movie at all. So it has me a little concerned on the rewatch. Whereas I think Commando is going to demolish this movie, by the way. So I'll run through my kind of like thoughts, and we'll let people in the comments chime in and see if we have any easy victories other than this Die Hard matchup. So Lethal Weapon over Roadhouse. I'll leave that to Rob. Commando for sure for me wins over Black Rain. Bloodsport would win over Cobra because I have watched Bloodsport hella more times. Beverly Hills Cop easily beats Red Heat. I don't know about this. Beverly Hills Cop 2 and Rambo First Blood 2. It's been a while since I've seen both. Beverly Hills Cop 2 is Tony Scott stuff. I'll leave that for a second. Lethal Weapon 2, like I said, I think that wins over Tango and Cash. Above the Law, I think, is going to win over 48 Hours, even though 48 Hours kind of like created this kind of genre, or like kind of like made it viable. So Rob, I don't know if you want to chime in, or if you want to hit the comments yet.
Yeah, so listen, here's how I would see it, John. First of all, I would say Above the Law definitely beats 48 Hours. That's for me. I think Lethal Weapon 2 definitely beats Tango and Cash. I enjoy Tango and Cash, but it's comparative to Lethal Weapon 2, I don't think is as good of a movie. The Beverly Hills Cop 2, Rambo 2 is a tough go. I don't know who would win between those two, because Rambo Part 2 is so vastly different than its predecessor, whereas Beverly Hills Cop 2 is very, very similar to its predecessor. But as you said, it's a Tony Scott movie, and it's very stylish. Although a lot of people, they don't hold it in the same regard as the first one. I think Rambo.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Beverly Hills Cop 2. I did rewatch it a little while ago, and it doesn't have the same magic as the first one, even though some people do tend to like more than the first one.
Yeah, but I think Rambo First Blood Part 2 is what kind of helped make the Rambo mythology. Do you know what I'm saying by that? So meaning that it really and then Rambo Part 3. Those movies is what caused us to have the Rambo cartoon series, the Rambo serial, and everything else. You didn't have that with First Blood. It was because of First Blood Part 2. So I would probably say First Blood Part 2 will probably beat Beverly Hills Cop 2. I think
let's go for the easy stuff then, for sure. So let's talk about Lingo and Cash. It looks like most of the people in the comments are agreeing with us. I don't know if you want to have to rewatch those to decide that, but I feel like I feel like Lethal Weapon 2 definitely does have to go on.
Yeah, I would put Lethal Weapon 2 above that.
Why does this program do this to me?
I think it's a user error.
It's not. It's just randomly doing it. How about Above the Law over 48 Hours?
I'm thinking Above the Law.
I think 48 Hours feels more like a comedy. You have not Beverly. You have Eddie Murphy, and Nick Nolte, I believe.
Yep.
Who are not
sober. Oh, sorry.
they were not considered action stars at this time. I would debate if Eddie Murphy is even considered an action guy overall.
Well, yeah, but in all fairness, though, Bruce Willis wasn't an action guy. He was filming Moonlighting at the time, right? And then he was doing Die Hard in the evenings. So, I would just counter that argument.
But other than Beverly Hills Cop, like, what is Eddie Murphy really the action star in? He did a movie called Metro. I don't know if you remember it, with Michael Rappaport, where he was a cop.
Yeah.
I own it on Laserdisc because I wanted to support Eddie Murphy's career. But that's the only other real action movie that I can kind of think of off the top of my head.
Yeah,
he was in a newer movie with Ben Stiller, something about a heist of some kind, I think.
I wouldn't count The Adventures of Pluto Nash, so I think that he's very. Yeah, I don't consider him. I think he's more of a comedic star than he was an action star. Above the Law is Steven Seagal's first movie. The first 2 minutes of that movie is actual footage of him in Japan training. It is not to say it's autobiographical, but there are a lot of elements of that movie that are autobiographical with respect to his history. So Above the Law is a much better movie than 48 Hours.
Yeah. Tower Heist. That was the movie I was talking about, but that's more of a comedy, adventure,
right?
Action. Yeah. Lewis does action asked if I have a functional Laserdisc player. I don't know. I have a Laserdisc player. If it's functional or not, I don't know.
Well,
okay.
Are you functional?
I don't know. I'm out of whiskey right now, so I don't know. Let's see. It looks like people are generally agreeing that Above the Law is definitely. I've actually already moved it ahead because I actually do really want to watch. I don't remember Marked for Death, Above the Law, those movies. I don't know if I can tell them apart at this moment. I feel like this is an easy call though. Here, Beverly Hills Cop versus Red Heat. I don't think we can have a top 3 without Beverly Hills Cop in there as a representative for the 80s.
Yeah, Red Heat is a good movie, but I feel that Jim Belushi. I feel like he kind of almost taints that movie a little bit.
Yeah, anybody else? I wonder if it would have hit harder.
Could you imagine if it was Eddie Murphy? Could you imagine if it was Eddie Murphy with Arnold in Red Heat? Like, I really don't. I think Jim Belushi just was the wrong actor for that movie.
Yeah, no, I think that's an easy call. So I moved it ahead. Bloodsport versus Cobra. I don't know. I feel like I don't mind rewatching Cobra unless a lot of people in the comments are Bloodsport is a classic, but Van Damme does have a string of like kind of very definitive action movies in the 90s. If we go and do a 90s bracket, he's going to be all over there. And especially with his later works like Time Cop and Sudden Death and things like that, a Universal Soldier, like Bloodsport is a great kind of like dudes fighting other dudes using various martial arts. The originator, the original Mortal Kombat.
But when was the last time you saw Cobra? Because Cobra in and of itself is not a great movie. From my recollection, I admit
I've seen scenes of it. Yeah, I don't think I've watched it in its entirety. I don't know if anyone else has in the comments. We could definitely use your help on that one. But I've watched scenes of it. Like the opening scene definitely is really good.
It's been a really long time. It's been a long time. Like it's got to be about 15 years since I've watched that movie. I feel though that it ends really abruptly. I can't tell if you're smiling or if you're frozen. I don't know what you're doing.
Sorry. I don't know what's going on with my internet and if I'm slowing down or you're slowing down, but Scott, not just 1986 probably. Minus when it released. So that's the last time he saw it, which I would not be surprised. And that actually the case, I feel like, that of us deciding it, the fact that he's never took the time to rewatch it, and he does have a lot clogging up here. If Rob is still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Anyone's there. I guess I'm breaking up.
Yeah. You're like the violent femmes. You're breaking up. I didn't hear what you were saying about Cobra. I don't know if we can make the decision right now or not. I don't know if anybody else recalls it. The problem is that I've always kind of felt that Cobra didn't hold up to a lot of those 80s action movies. I always kind of felt like it was in the bottom half of those movies. It could just be because of the year it came out. I mean, 86. I mean, we talked about this last week, John. Those movies, they really kind of took off just after like in 87 and whatnot. Like those last 3.5 years of the 80s was definitive 80s action movies. And so I kind of feel that sometimes those earlier movies get forgotten about. I feel like Cobra really ended abruptly. If I remember correctly, like he just gets in his car and drives away. And you're like, what? That's it? So I mean, I'm willing to watch it again with everybody else. I just my recollection of Bloodsport, having seen it obviously way more than I did Cobra, it was a much better movie. But I'm willing to hold off and wait if we want to make a decision on that next week. I'll do my best to try to find Cobra. I don't know what's happening with John. Let me see what else. I see John has the bracket, so I couldn't even tell what else we had on there. Does anybody else in the comments have any memories of Cobra? Yeah, Fraser, you're saying wait on that round. I think that's what we're probably going to have to do. I just don't think it's as easy as the other ones that we've been picking so far. Fraser also saying that John has just jumped back to dial-up. I think you might be right. See, and now he's gone. Awesome. So let me see. What else do we have here? Hey, buddy. You're saying John looks fine. That's because he disappeared. I don't know if anyone
can hear Rob's still there.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can kind of hear you. Bloodsport up, set up Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Hey, John, if you can hear us, put the bracket back up in case you go missing again. Yeah, see, Lewis, you haven't seen or don't remember seeing Cobra. Again, it's been a really bad time, a long time. Andrew says that Cobra has a better bad guy. What tanks that movie is Bridget Nielsen. Isn't that really true though for almost every Bridget Nielsen movie, Andrew? I mean, don't forget she is in Beverly Hills Cop 2. I do think that maybe the best part of Beverly Hills Cop 2 is Gilbert Gottfried. I think the inclusion of him in that 3-minute scene is probably the funniest part or the best part about that entire movie. John, do you have the bracket to put up? John forgot his AOL password. You're so bad. Nobody knows what's happening. This is like Max
Everyone
Headroom.
in my house
Like,
just jumped on the internet.
Nope, nobody did at all. Yes, Scott, she was Red. Yes, Bridget Nielsen was Red Sonja. And actually, I'm just going to double check that while we wait for John. I'm pretty certain that she was Red Sonja. Yes, Bridget Nielsen. I also kind of feel, though, that maybe her whole entire career was somewhat tainted by that horrible early 2000 that show, the celebrities that were all in that house living together with Flavor Flav, and she was like making out with him and stuff. That pretty much destroyed her career, I think. John, are you there? Is John available with us? I wish I had a copy of his of the bracket. At any rate, listen, we are almost hitting the 1 hour mark. I want to thank everybody who has tuned in. It has been a lot of fun. Sorry for the technical difficulties on John's part. So we're going to finalize. The bracket's finalized. John's going to post it on the Facebook and on Instagram. You can go check it out there. We'll have already the picks that we've already made. We'll finalize those other picks. I honestly would highly recommend, if you have an opportunity to watch some of these movies, definitely do it again, even if you think the nostalgia factor might be high. And I'm the first to say that nostalgia factor can definitely overshadow movies. John is a perfect example with Batman and Robin, and how much he thought the nostalgia factor completely was rife with Batman and Robin, and he realized it was tainting his vision. So I would highly recommend, if you have an opportunity to rewatch some of these movies, that you go ahead and do so. I'm going to do it. If I haven't seen some of these, I've already seen within the last 30 days at any rate, because what else am I going to do? Sleep is for the weak. So I would definitely recommend, if you have an opportunity to do that, check it out on whatever websites. You can follow me on Instagram at Rob Gadet and at Twitter. I will do my best to also put up there, if I have a link or an idea of where you can get some of those movies online to be able to watch it, whether it's in Canada. Definitely check it out there. John, you can follow at J-Ho at Heroes World. I don't know if
anyone can hear me in here.
Yeah, we can kind of hear you, John. But you could definitely follow John. You know where he's at on the Instagram and on Facebook with the store.
God, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I had to switch to my phone. All right.
Don't worry about it, Don. It's all good. Also, don't forget, on Wednesday, please tune in. The new Heroes World main podcast episode drops on Wednesday. We talk about what we're looking forward to in 2021, what has the potential to be the Wonder Woman 84 of 2021, and we fan cast the Heroes for Hire duo. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and there's some other things that we do there as well. And then looking forward to it. We are going to be finalizing part of this bracket. We'll be moving into some of the, I guess, the quad finals or whatever they are. I don't do sports. And then be moving on to discussing as well WandaVision, which will probably be coming out next Sunday. The episode we'll review the first 2 episodes for you. So there's a lot of Heroes World content. Please tune in. Thank you for those who do tune in week in and week out, who take the time to watch us every week, to comment. We say it every week, and I just don't know if we can't say it in a way that probably makes a lot of sense, but we really appreciate your feedback and your inclusion and your interaction with us. If it's not for you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. So thank you very much. Follow our social medias. I will post up where you can see some of these movies. John will update the bracket and put it on Facebook. And I think that's about it. So I guess that's it. We're out. John, are you back?
I'm on my phone, so thanks for closing it out, Rob. Sorry, folks. I don't know what's going on here. We do pay for some of the most expensive internet here, but I don't know what the frick.
It's all good. No, it's all good. Oh, and so right before we go, no, Scott, we're not going to do the sci-fi stuff yet. We'll probably get more into that as the main bracket progresses. So we'll have a lot of fun. Anyways, guys and gals, thanks so much. Have a great evening. Be safe. Please be safe. Wear your masks. Be safe. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.